Hi boys and girls, I'm going to show you how to start your center of your basket weaving. So if you want to try it home with a family member, you'll come into class and you'll be ready to go on to the next step. So you have your coil, and I've already cut a chunk out of this side so that it's wedged, and then remember you want to kind of take it and you want to pre-coil it a little bit so that it gets softer, so that when you're trying to do the weaving it's not as hard to hold it into place. So do that a couple times. Okay, I am right-handed, so all of this extra mess of coil is going to go off to my left side. I can tuck it in a pocket, I can put it falling off the table. I just don't want it to keep getting in the way, okay? I already have my yarn on my needle, so my two edges are together, and then my needle is on the other side right in the center. There, okay? To start, I'm going to take the two edges of my yarn. I'm holding the coil in my left hand, my non-writing hand, because I'm right-handed. And I'm going to put the two tails of the yarn on there, about a finger's length. Does not have to be exact. Hold the edges, and then I'm going to wrap towards this edge of the coil here. So I'm going to wrap it, putting my yarn right next to the piece that I wrapped before. I'm going to go almost to the edge. I'm going to leave this little white tail here. Then I'm going to bend that in half, which is a lot easier now that I've already kind of pre-coiled it. And I'm going to hold that little piece right here. And then I'm going to wrap around both of these so I can hold it together. So now I'm going to take my yarn and I'm going to wrap around. I'm wrapping around that little piece and the other piece and wrapping towards my holding hand. Okay, so I have this little thing. It is important to have this little hole in here because that's how we're going to tie on. Okay, so now the coiling begins. So now I'm going to take this and I'm going to coil it. Okay, kind of like a snake. And I'm going to take my needle. I'm going to put it into the center, the tie-on spot. Right now it's in the center because I don't have anywhere else to tie on. And I'm going to pull my yarn all the way through. I'm going to pull really tight, and then I'm going to wrap on this white part 5 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then I'm going to coil it. Okay, holding it nice and tight. I'm going to tie on right next to where I'm working, which right now happens to be in the center. I'm going to pull my yarn all the way through. I'm going to pull it really tight, so tight that I'm losing the color in my hands because I want this to stay together so I have a nice solid base without holes in it. Then I'm going to start wrapping, and now I can kind of let loose a little bit. 2, 3, 4, 5. Coil it. Tie on right next to where I'm working, which again happens to be the center for right now. Pull it really tight, and then I'm going to keep wrapping over this white coil. Now if I was left-handed, I would be holding it the opposite way, but I'm right-handed, so I'm holding it in my left hand and wrapping with my right hand just like I would write with my right hand. Okay, just wrap 5 times. I'm going to coil it. I'm going to put it through the area that's right next to it. So I'm working right here. So the area that's right next to it is this part. If you have a hard time finding it, you can just turn it over like that. It's easier to pull the yarn tighter though when you're wrapping the yarn going this direction away from you. So again, I'm going to wrap 5 times. And it looks like this is going to be the last time I go into the center. So, I don't think I can't get right here. So I'm going to have to go in the center this one last time. Pull it really super tight. Okay, and then again wrap 5 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now when I coil it this time, the area that's right next to where I'm working happens to be right here. Okay, because I'm working on this one, and that's the one that's right next to it. So I'm gonna hold that tight, hold it so we don't want gaps or anything in it. Hold it so it's a nice tight coil. And then pull it through, double checking that make sure it's fine on the back. Pull it tight, okay? And then I'm going to wrap 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Coil. So my right hand, my wrapping hand, is always like free of all this other stuff. Tie into the area that's right next to it. Okay, right here's where I'm working. That's the area right next to it. I do not want to go way into the center here because then we won't see any of the cool coils that you're making. Okay, so right next to where I'm working, pull it super tight. Wrap another 5 times. Okay, I've got just enough yarn to tie on one more time right next to where I'm working. Sometimes it's hard to get the needle through. There we go. Okay, especially if it's tight. If it's really tight, then it's hard to get the needle through, which is a good thing. And if your needle breaks, bring in the broken needle to me and I'll give you a new one. Okay, so pulling it through. Okay, when I have about this much left, that's when I'm going to cut it off. So I'll just take my scissors and I'll cut right in this loop so I don't have little pieces I have to throw away. Okay, put this needle in a safe spot until you get your new piece of yarn. And then you're going to add your new piece of yarn. I want you to work with the same color, your first color, whatever it happens to be, for like 3 or 4 pieces. When you add on your next one and you've done it by yourself, show me, and I will make sure that it looks, you know, good on the front and the back and is nice and tight, and then you'll have the freedom to take it home and weave whenever you want to. So if you're doing this at home and you're trying to add on, the next video is adding on a piece of yarn. You can do this piece and the next piece by yourself if you have it, and then bring it in and show me anytime, and then I'll approve for you to go on to the next step. Okay, thank you. Have fun.